government took over and changed the names of the islands to the Dutch East Indies. Through the 18th, 19th, and early 20th centuries, the Dutch controlled the East Indies until Japan took them over during World War II. The Dutch East Indies didn't want to be ruled by the Dutch again after the war finished, so they started a war for independence. In 1945, the Dutch East Indies, which would later become Indonesia, came out on its own. The Dutch and the other Allied powers didn't believe the story, so troops were sent to Indonesia to take it back under English control. Between 1945 and 1946, battles showed how strong and dedicated the Indonesian military was to the cause. As a result, there were several attempts to make peace. The government of Indonesia, which had just become independent, had a hard time getting started, but they were still able to stop the Dutch when peace talks broke down in 1947. In the 2 months that the Dutch fought to take over Sulawesi in 1946 and 1947, they killed about 4,000 Indonesians, led by Captain Raymond Westerling, who used what would become known as the Westerling Method. The Dutch commandos would surround a village during pre-dawn hours, searching the residents and their homes. Anyone found with a weapon was shot on the spot and his house burned. The rest were herded into an open field. The men separated from the women and children. Any suspected terrorists were brought forward, condemned, and summarily executed. The worst retaliations of the war happened in the Netherlands after police action began in 1947. The Dutch sent 120,000 troops to Indonesia to keep peace and order during 2 big police actions. As one former soldier put it, "I didn't shoot them, the Indonesians, but I tortured and beat them up. They fell over when I put them out in the sun. I wasn't told to do it. You get used to it over time. Isn't it awful? I tortured people on my own, not because they told me to. I meant to do a good job." Indonesia became its own country in 1949, but it's hard to say how many people died during that time. The Dutch suffered 6,000 deaths as a direct result of war. Indonesian casualties are almost impossible to calculate. Irish Potato Famine, 1846-1852. During the Irish Potato Famine in the middle of the 1800s, about 1 million people, or up to 25% of the Irish population, died of hunger or illness. Another million people had to leave Ireland or were kicked out. These famines, like the ones in India, were not caused by the British Empire. However, British policies and actions made them worse and killed more people than they should have. In this time period, Ireland was part of the British Empire. When the potato blight first showed up in 1845, England didn't